forcing me to watch commercials. Okay, so I know I've basically done these videos before separately. However, I'm going to redo the wings. I'm going to do all 12 wings in the Cuisinart because I think I pretty much felt that the Cuisinart did probably the best job and a little better than the GoWISE USA air fryer oven because the wings will fit easier in the Cuisinart. I've also chosen the Ninja to do the flanken steaks because I think it did a really good job. I'm not going to do the GoWISE USA air fryer for this one because I've done a ton of videos on that, and I think it's important that, you know, I go back to this because I truly want to see how well the Cuisinart does with a dozen wings, because I know that the tray is bigger than the GoWISE, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flanken steaks will fit in the Ninja at one time. So let's start prepping. So my wife wanted some of her rice here, and it's just some of that Nor rice. That's what she wanted. So I'll get that prepping at some point. But here we have our dozen wings, and normally I throw these away, and a lot of people will keep these to make a broth with or something like that, but there's really no meat there. But I said to myself, you know what, why let this go to waste? What I'm going to do is I'm going to season these and cook them in the air fryer, assuming they all fit, because these will be done quicker. The wings can take 30 minutes to cook, but these should be done quicker. So this will give me like a little snack, if you will, while I wait for the rest to get ready. So since the wings take longer, I am going to trade off here and put the steaks there and get the wings here, and we're going to start to season. We are going to season with my favorite, which is pink Himalayan salt, ground pepper, granulated garlic, ground cayenne red pepper, and smoked paprika. I'm going to use it for actually both of these because it's kind of a favorite of mine. So let's get that on there. I like it to be nice and plentiful. And in my video, part 3 of these air fryers, you could see the portions, but basically it was a cup of pink Himalayan salt, a cup and a half of pink Himalayan salt, a cup of ground pepper, a half a cup of granulated garlic, and then some red pepper and the smoked paprika. And I didn't measure those, I just kind of put it in the amount there, but maybe a tablespoon or so, but you can really taste the the flavoring in that. So anybody who missed any of those videos, I know lives can be tedious sometimes because you got to wait out the food to be cooked, but those steaks cooked really fast. So I think I got all this seasoned well. Some might say that's too much, but you know what? That's how I like it. Let's see. So I got my rack here, so I'm gonna kind of put these on now. Now what I usually do is I like to put this side down, this side, sorry, up. I like the bone to be up at the end because that gets some nice crisp to it, and to me it looks more appetizing that way. So that's just how I like to do it. Sometimes I don't even notice and don't care because, you know, I love wings, and I'll often put when I'm done, I'll put some my own hot sauce, but I ran out of my own, so I accidentally had picked up some Frank's Red Hot wing sauce by accident. So what I'm going to do is just use some of that since it's already flavored. So let's see if I can't stick some of these along the edge here. These fit nice, they're not packed, and I know that they're not going to touch the edge because this sits in the middle of that rack. I could also probably put it at the bottom of that rack. That might be an idea as well. But let's do this. Stick it all in there. If you're on and you want to say hi or you have some questions, please ask away. There we go. Let me rinse my hands quick. I know people get very upset if they think cross-contaminating, so I don't want to do that. So there's the chicken, there's the Cuisinart. I'm going to stick that in there. And I am going to set my timer for, I'm going to do 15 minutes because the Cuisinart cooked pretty quickly. I may even raise the temperature. It's at 400 now, but I like to sometimes raise this to 420, 430. So you know what? I am going to do that right now, 425, and start that. So now that's going. Now for the steak. Pretty much a rinse and repeat of what we did before. Is we're going to put on my seasoning here. Again, I'm being generous with the seasoning. That's me. You don't have to. I like to. It'll get a little tight when I go to season the side of these because I do like to season the side as well. It just barely fits on here, so let me do that. Oop. Would help if I had it shaker side down. And doing the sides gets interesting. So I'll do it in such a fashion. Maybe they'll cooperate and stay standing up. Usually I'm using two hands, but not today. So it gets them on the side. I don't need to put as much on the side, but yeah, that flipped over nice. I think I overdid it with the seasoning. It flopped all over the place, but that's okay. I'm trying to be quick for you guys so you don't have to wait. Okay, so these look really nice. Now, as you know, the Ninja only takes a minute to preheat. So I'm going to lift this up, move that over there, and I'm going to use my big tongs here for the... This should be interesting, so I'm going to need to pack the beef starting on this end. Hear that nice sizzle there? My daughter's making sizzling noises in the background, more like whistling noises. So those fit nice. Now this is going to be a little on the heavy side, so I'm going to get myself a couple of mitts.
Mittens?
Oven mitts, Natalia, oven mitts. So there we go, that's that. And open this up, and we'll get this in there. I could put this on the top rack, but that's really close. I want to put it on the bottom rack, to be honest with you. Get that hooked in, and that is in there. We'll close that up. So again, the Ninja is at 420, and I pumped the wings up to 425. So usually I have a spot to put it, my tablet here, but the oven is, Chris Diane, what kind of meat are you using for your steak? So it's referred to as a couple of things, but BJ's packages it as beef flanken rib steak or something like that. I think I have the package here. So I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but it's beef flanken short ribs, excuse me. And it's basically a steak. Now, the beef flanken, as I've mentioned in the past, is not a nice, super tender steak like a filet mignon or a ribeye. We do ribeyes all the time here. However, when cooked right, it's really, really tasty, and the bones add that extra flavor. And I'm actually gonna, now that I think of it, I'm actually gonna kick down the temperature to 400 on those steaks. I may push that back up, so I'm reversing my decision based on last time. But yeah, the beef flanken steaks. So one thing about BJ's is with the flanken steaks, I find they're hit or miss sometimes. I'll have like even within the same package, it'll be awesome one day, and I'll go to cook the next time, and it's kind of lacking. And I don't know why. It's just, you know, a different cut, and that's the way it is. So I hope that answers your question. So I get it at BJ's. I do, if I can shop at BJ's, that's where I go, because we buy a lot of chicken wings, the flanken steaks. We do get ribeye occasionally, pork chops, bone in or not. I always used to do no bone because it's easier to cut it up and eat it later if I'm in a hurry. but the bone, when you get pork chops, it's a lot of good flavor. Other things I do at BJ's is St. Louis ribs and baby back ribs, where I will, season them up and put them in the Instapot. One rack usually 18-20 minutes, 2 racks 30 minutes, and then once that's done, I put them in a pan lined with foil, brush on some sugar-free barbecue sauce or my own hot sauce, homemade, and I'll put them in the broiler for a few minutes there. So those are the kind of meats I get. And there's others. I buy ground beef and I'll make either burgers or meat casserole or meatloaf or meatballs, all keto based. It might not be pure keto in some cases, but it's pretty well done keto. So I had already set the timer for that for 15 minutes. I didn't look at the clock, but right now I'd say that's been going for at least a minute there. So with that being said, I would love to hear your questions, because we are going to be sitting here for 4 minutes, and I did a live at noontime, and I was going through some of the stuff, so I'd like you to chime in to say if you have any questions or not. Otherwise, I'll babble on. I think this would be the 9th video I've done in 2 weeks. I did a live this morning and now. And I think I might have did one other live a couple of days ago. I don't recall. Lives are just Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, my wife said, because it's just so much easier to do a live because there's no editing and I can get it to you faster. The only problem is there's a lot of filler in there. You got a lot of, what should be a 10-minute video might be an hour video. Yes.
You got...
Yes, I got water on me from washing my hands. That can happen sometimes. So. She wants to say hi. She started school today.
Remote learning, my eyes burn.
Remote learning, as she calls it. And so her meal today that I did, I used the GoWISE air fryer oven. I did dino chicken and some potato puffs, or you may know them as tater tots. And I did those. I cook them at a higher temperature now because it gets it done better and crispier, and she likes the crispy outside as from the breading, which as do I. And so I'll cook it at 430 for 12 to 14 minutes, and I'll flip the tater tots in between until they're crispy. I see people coming and going off the chat. So what we have now is 7 minutes on the chicken. I'm going to take a quick peek. Those look okay. Again, I don't want to open this too much, but it's sometimes easier. Let me see if I got the light coming on.
Ooh,
Yep,
baby.
that's got, yes. She sees the steak. She loves steak. If she could have it every day, she probably would. Of course, steak is the most expensive thing that on the menu, right?
That's my girl.
Yeah, that's our girl. Drumsticks, you've probably seen that I did the last drumstick videos. I want to see how much I could fit in my regular air fryer basket, which is this one, and the number is 9. I want to bring something up. This is a 5.8 quart from GoWISE. A lot of people, these designs are all the same. They could probably come out of the same factory. 5.3 quarts, this is 5.8. I think it's just because the basket, they allow you to fill it taller. But the new versions, it used to be you could get this whole pan, basket, and handle assembly for like 25 bucks. And then they got smart because they were breaking, so there was 25, whatever. But the new versions, they did something very smart. They did something what Gourmet had been doing, is where you have the pan, and inside it's just a what do you call it? A tray or a grate that sits in there with silicone sides. That does a couple of things. It lightens it up. The pan mechanism, the unload mechanism, is never going to fail on you, and it's cheaper to produce. So technically, they could sell it for cheaper, and they may say, "Hey, we're going to sell you a 7 quart for the same price." When in reality, it's a lot cheaper on the inside, and it's cheaper to replace it because that grate is probably the only part you need to replace, but they're very chintzy. And the pan, if this gets crappy, it's okay. But I think all they did was, by taking this out, you now have an extra ½ an inch all around, or an inch side to side, and it sits down further, that gives you the 7 quart. So while I can't say for sure, I'm pretty sure if you get a 7 quart GoWISE pan, it may very well fit into a 5.8. And I want to actually try that at some point. They do sell Power XL near me, which is the same design, so I'd be curious to grab one of those 7s and pop it in there. I think I mistakenly said 8 at one time. Justin, can an air fryer oven do everything you need from an air fryer? So here's my thoughts on air fryers versus air fryer ovens. I don't think an air fryer oven does as good as a job as an air fryer, and that's pretty much been my stance since pretty much close to the beginning when I started testing them. I just think the air fryer was meant to do that one thing and it does it well, whereas the air fryer ovens tries to be many things. Now I will say the Cuisinart air fryer does a good job with air frying. However, it's not quite as good as the regular air fryer, but the Cuisinart air fryer oven has a larger capacity. So that's the difference. So if you already have a toaster oven or something like that, you may not need, and you want to replace it with a single device, sure, this will do fine. The GoWISE, I think people like it because it does rotisserie type as well, which some people like that option. So I'm not sure if that fully answers your question. I'm going to do a quick check of the steak, because chances are it might be ready to be flipped. I might be running behind on that. Yep, I think we're ready to flip that. So I need to grab my mix again, which I put down somewhere. No, I'll just grab another couple. I have a few of these. Maybe brought them to me. Whew. Yep, that's okay.
Oof. It's a good oof.
So that was close to the edge, so I'm going to flip these. Now they don't get those sear marks like you would from a grill, and I think that's half of a lot of the appeal is from a grill. Is you see those sear marks, they tend to make us think awesomeness, which they are. So this is was it about 120 something, and I cooked these to about 160 because I honestly think they need it. Let me just push this on a little further. There we go. Open this door back up. Yeah, so these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steaks just fit in there. And now that's done, now I am going to actually raise the temperature of the Ninja back to 420. So it can start to get some nice heat up there. And the bottom, even though this is an air fry mode, the bottom burners are on to give some bottom heat. And I think that's why this seems to do a decent job cooking that. And I am just going to wipe down my counter because I got some steak ooze there. Let's check the chicken. Chicken is not ready to be turned, in my opinion. I like to see, I will take this out just so I can show you, even though normally I would not do this. I like to have the chicken to have most of its color before I actually turn it over. I don't know if that's a good picture or not. I'll close this up before I lose too much heat in there. I should have taken the phone off and brought it over. That would have been the smart thing to do. There we go. I don't see any questions yet there. Well, let's get some of this stuff off here. Now, with there's some sort of an unfair thing going on here. With the GoWISE, I do have a pan underneath it. You know, this is the catch tray, but all the drippings and everything from the air fryer go to the bottom. With the Cuisinart, you have to use that pan in there they give you, because the air fryer mesh basket doesn't lock into any of the slides. I don't know if that was done on purpose or they said, hey, this is cheaper because we use this in another one of our devices, but you have to use that pan. With the Ninja, you do get a drip tray, but I choose not to use it, you know, because I'm using the grates instead of the wire grates. I gotta look up the terminology because I always screw that up in that case. So what else? Let's get this a little closer so you can see my mug more. So in a little bit, what I will do is I'll start heating up the water for the rice, because I think we're at least going to be able to use the steak, or start the steak. And for that, it's not that you need how to see how to make instant rice, but this stuff you put 2 cups of water in, you put a tablespoon of butter, but I often put in 2 tablespoons because I think it helps a lot. You put this in here. As soon as it starts to boil, you turn it down to a simmer, let it cook for 7 minutes, and then you let it sit for 2 minutes. And I love using this flat wooden spoon for this. Alright, buzzer going off. That's for the chicken originally set. So my assistant here, my cute little assistant, she's gonna stand off to the side and warn me when this starts bubbling, just in case I start to
Not
lose
paying
track.
attention.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me I'm not paying attention.
Excuse me.
So, let's see if we have any more questions there. Nope. Oh,
Shoot.
excuse me.
No fire.
Sorry about that. That is, there's tons of steam coming out of the Ninja oven right now. And that's what I run into. If I cook 2 batches of 12 wings in the air fryer oven, same thing's happening because all that grease is pulling. So, you guys are probably laughing at me right now. That's okay. So, I'm going to move this off to the side, and we're going to check out the steak.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, it's right. That looks pretty nice. I'm going to pull this out, and since I turned up the heat, there's going to be some nice looking char on that. So, let me do a pull this out.
Oh shoot.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. You saw it here first, folks. No problem. It fell on the glass here, so that's what happens when you overload. Go ahead, laugh at me. You're allowed. So I'm going to check the temperature, and if need be, I will stick it back in for just another minute. I've never had that happen before. And I said 165. This is slowly creeping up. Yeah, it's 165. I am going to throw it in for another minute. And then we will be done with these. Don't touch that. I'm actually going to power down the Ninja because there's plenty of heat in there, and that'll continue to cook. Let's pull out the wings. I'm going to pull it out with the bottom tray, of course, because you can see the wings right there. Now I'm going to open the Ninja door. And here's the wings. Start to flip those. Now, usually I buy the smallest wings I could find. You know, they come with 24 wings per package, individually sealed, like 4 wings per. And I buy the lightest weight ones I can for 2 reasons. They fit better in the GoWISE, and also I like the smaller wings because they cook up faster, and I just eat more at that point. I need more counter space for myself next time I do one of these. Alright, so as you can see, these look pretty uncooked on the bottom side, but that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to look. And we are now going to put these back in the Cuisinart. Okay, those are back in. The rice needs to go down to a simmer. I hit the simmer button on the stove and it will start to simmer. Hopefully the phone doesn't get mad at me and overheat like it did one time because it was sitting over the stove. So we'll set our timer on that. time, I empty out the Ninja since there's no pan. It goes dripping all over the floor, so, and the counter. So I'm doing that. Okay. I don't see any new questions out there. So what we are going to do now is we are going to grab the steak and we are going to put it in a plate once we pull it out. As soon as I find my gloves again. We need to have a place for all this stuff.
Oh, I know a very good place in our stomach.
Yes, you can put it in your stomach, but not just yet. So there are the steaks there. And I like to put those in this serving pan because it's long. So let me grab the steak one.
That's boiling.
Yeah, she's speaking of the rice, and it is on a simmer where it's supposed to be, and it is going to bubble up. I just have to stir it again in a minute. So there we go for that. I am going to sit this on the stove somehow. What I'm going to do is put this rack back in the Ninja. The Ninja gets messy with its design, I will say that. I mean, it's not the easiest, none of them are easy to clean. So I'm going to now check the rice again. You might see a lot of steam going up. So I think the smoke alarm went off. I think that's about the third time that's happened to me since I started doing these videos and stuff. UNEC, good afternoon. It's actually 5:38 here. I'm not sure where you're from. I always like to hear where people are coming from, so if you care to share, I'd love to know it. Okay, 11 watching. So you guys probably don't want to see my mug. You'd probably rather see this steak here. Ta-da! Just recheck the temperature. I know it's fine because I had checked it earlier and it was basically on cue. I'm sure this has had time to cool down, so it's not going to show the full 165 that it was at before. It's showing just short of 145, but it was just about 165 when I had pulled it out the first time before I stuck it in for 2 more minutes. So I know this is going to be fine. So that looks yummy. Now, as far as the wings go, I'll just take this with me. This time, I will grab one of these. Open this up. As you can see, they still need crisping up. They are cooked. They are at the temperature, I'm sure, but I like to get my wings extra crisp. So let me fit that back in. Get it back on the charger. I wish these new phones, these higher end phones, they don't have a headphone jack, which is fine for most of the cases, but my wireless microphone requires a headphone jack, and you can't charge it and use the headphone jack at the same time, and the adapters do not work with the Pixel 2 XL. There's been a lot of complaints about that. I like the small ones because at heart I'm a well done fellow back as a kid. So I'm going to grab a plate. I am going to grab a scale. Push the Ninja out of the way a little bit. Here. Get that zeroed in again. And this is the one I'm going to try right there. I weigh everything. I weigh all my food. It becomes annoying to some people. We'll say that's about 4 ounces. And scoot this over. Let me grab a fork and a knife. And whoever saw my last video, what I like to do is cut the steak off here. And then I'll eat the steak here. And then later I will go back. I'll show you just a second. I am gonna do a ribeye in these ovens too. It's kind of like not cool to do a ribeye in these because it can ruin it. And then I cut these and I'll just eat around these, and this gets so much taste just because of the spices, but the bone, taste from the bone there. So let's see. Let me see if I can find a better picture for you. See, that's probably medium to medium well there. So honest with you, I forget how much I said this thing weighed. Yeah, something's off with the scale. I'll have to go back later and check. That is for the rice. Sorry if my face is completely in the camera. Or my ear, by the looks of it. Stir this up a little bit. I'll let that sit for a couple of minutes. You want to have a piece of steak?
Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna get some steak ready for the girls here.
I'll take a piece from the time.
That's for one of you. And for Natalia, we'll take this one. So we got 2 pieces for the girls. Yeah, just do it at the table.
I need a knife. Can you just grab me a knife?
Okay, what do we got here? 9 people on. So, again, this is a good pie. I'm going to check the wings again in a second. You know, I think I'm seeing a mistake that I did. Ooh, a lot of steam. Yeah. This is my bad. This is supposed to go up here. And that would have given it more heat. So, my mistake, sorry. It's possible it's been like that the whole cycle. Hey, Beth. I would say long time, but I think I spoke to you the other day on the live. You missed the lives? Is that what it is, or just the videos in general? I love the lives because I don't have to edit, but they take too long sometimes.
Right, can you pull this cup off now so we have room? Just put it in. Don't touch it, just put it in the sink.
Some people hate when I smack my lips. So, I am going to move the steak somewhere out of the way on my plate. Because we are going to have, I can't put it too close to where the dog is because it looks like he's eyeballing it. So I'm going to put it on top of the Ninja oven.
Hold on,
Yeah, I like the lives, as I've mentioned in the past, for a lot of reasons. It's just, you know, it takes out all the editing. Although the resolution isn't as good, it's just desirable for me. And as I just pointed out, I messed up here. While I had everything the way it was, I had it on the lower shelf instead of the upper shelf. I don't know how much that would affect it, but I'm sure it will affect it some. And take another look in a second here. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it in there for another second because, again, I had that on the low instead of the high rack. And that is 100% on me. I'm finding I enjoy the seltzer water more if they've been in the refrigerator, I add ice, and then I put it in. It makes it extra cold, which is desirable. Okay, let's see. While that's doing it, I'm going to recheck the weights of the steak here because I goofed. I believe I said it was 4 ounces. Now I'm going to check it without the bone. 183, so it's basically 2.15 ounces on that one piece of steak I had. And I'm probably going to have another piece as well after the chicken, because I love chicken. And that's another 4.3 ounces. So I'm going to put that up here. I'll grab a separate plate for the chicken. That's the other thing, you're cooking so many different things. If it was just one food and all three, it's not as bad. Cooking 2 different foods, and you gotta kind of remind yourself with timers to make sure you don't forget things in the oven. I'm gonna prep this area. And we're gonna take a quick look here. And this, a lot of heat comes out. You open it, wait a second, because there's a big rush of heat from that fan. Oh yeah. I'm tempted to leave it in there another second to make it super crispy. Stop that. What are you looking for?
I just want to grab some of the rice.
Okay, we got a rice thing going on here. Just 1 second, everyone. Bring it right up there.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Oops. Little rice spillage there. And the good thing about the chicken on here is I will leave it here and people just pick and choose the pieces they want. So that is what I'm going to do. First I'm going to weigh off and zero out my plate so I know for the future how much I put on there. And I'm going to pick my favorites that look cooked extra. 2, I usually grab 6 pieces. 3, 4. Oh, let's see. Oh, I don't know. 5 and 6. And I'm gonna grab one of these right here. Almost looks like a fry. So now that that is out of the way, I've got to weigh it out because I got to do a double weigh. This is 11.80 ounces of what I got here. So I'll do the take on that later. I'm not gonna put hot sauce on that now. It's gonna take away from what I'm doing. Beth, eat one for us, Donna. Yeah. Yep, she has no problem doing it. First, I want to try one of these because I've never actually did this before. And all it really is the skin. But the skin is the best part. Remember the doctors used to say, no eggs, no skin, it's bad for you. Now eggs are like the perfect food. Unless you're allergic to it. Skin and spicy. And I think I said 11.8. Yeah. Okay. So normally what I'll do here, and I'm sorry, I thought I was pointing down, is I will separate all these out just to get them cooling faster. Ooh, that's hot. Ooh. Ooh. I punish myself. Ah. Oh. Oh, those spicings on there are awesome. Yep. Okay, so here we are. And as I've said 100 times before, I think drumsticks were my favorite. And then something happened. I just got a lot of bad drumsticks in a row. Now I love the flats a lot. And here's a flat. I love my ones. Yep, same with butter. I was going to say that as I started reading it. Before was no butter, margarine. Now it's like stay the hell away from margarine. In fact, organic butter, I get organic unsalted butter from Leslie Farms, and it's very nice butter. All right, time for a mini wing. Maybe if I eat away from, looking away from the camera, people won't be as offended. Yeah. I want to try another one of those little wingy things. I don't know what the proper name of it. It's got that skin. You know what else I like to do? Some people may have missed this. Is my brother will give me the chicken skins, like when they're doing skinless chicken, and he'll give me it, and I'll freeze them, and then later I take them out, I fry them in a pan to make like chicken skin chips. That's good stuff. Yeah, I know. Don't enjoy too much though. Anyway, I'm gonna eat one more flat on air. Awesome wings. I think they would have been done a little faster and looked a little more crisp if I hadn't screwed up and threw them on the bottom rack instead of the top. I'm gonna put some hot sauce on these too. Alright, finger looking patrol is gonna come get mad at me. What do you want? A piece of chicken?
Yes, please.
Okay, you are gonna get this beauty right here.
It's all of mine.
Yes, it's all yours. Anyway, with that being said, I see everybody's looks like they're dropping off. So I appreciate you coming with me. This was a kind of like a rinse and repeat of what I did, but at the same time, but I think the Cuisinart, if you GoWISE out of the picture, I think the Cuisinart is better suited for air frying. And the Ninja, I don't know what it's better suited at. They did the steaks okay, but that being said, it's not even an air fryer. It's just like a small convection oven. So I don't think this is going to make it into get a permanent place in my kitchen. To be honest with you, the Cuisinart is questionable, but it's really big. So I think I have something else in mind that I think you guys are going to be happy with that I can review on the next appliance that I got coming. So I wish some of these manufacturers would reach out to me, but I don't think they like the fact that I tell the truth, and sometimes it may hurt their bottom. Like GoWISE, I used to track what people used to buy when they watched my videos, and I sold a ton of those air fryers for them. And so they gave me, they were nice, they gave me an air fryer. They sent the wrong one, they sent me a second one. So they sent me 2 air fryers. Very generous of them. I always said that. But I wish some of them would reach out, because I'd like to get one of the DeLonghi ones where it has a bottom heater and a top as well. I'd love to try one of those out. What? Where?
Huh? That's all. That's fine.
She's throwing away the meat around the bone. That's no good. Anyway, folks, thanks. Well, go ahead, take your chicken. And those are just skin, so if you like just the skin. Okay, that's enough of those for you. Anyway, folks, if you like this video and you'd like to see more of these videos, say so. Please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm putting out a new video. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Beth, for your participation, as well as Unique and Justin Carter and Chris Diane. You have a fantastic evening or day, depending where you are. Oh, and don't forget to unplug your air fryer, folks.
My hands are dirty.
Yep.
Bye.